I never thought that he would be making more buzz than him. So here I have the latest Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, and it has been around exactly 24 hours since I started using this brand new smartphone. And as people say, anything that is fresh needs to be consumed fresh. Let me give you my perspective on what I felt is fresh in this brand new device. As I know, a lot of people are like, is it even a worthy upgrade? So let's find it out in this video. From being a hardcore S23 Ultra user, switching to S25 Ultra, what exactly is new? The moment I picked up this phone, I can notice the new boxy design with the curved corners instead of the sharp. I wasn't actually that much convinced when the corners were rounded, but I really can feel that change ergonomically when I'm holding it in my hand. I'll suggest you guys, if you can go to the nearby shop and grab this phone and just check how it will feel in hand, because it's not something which I can communicate it through a video, but I would say this actually feels much better in my hand. The S23 Ultra had a curved display. It became flat in the S24 Ultra, and this time it's not just flat, they have nailed the display. Look at how thin the bezels are. It's absolutely gorgeous to take a look on this display. You remember the anti-reflective coating that S24 Ultra had, right? Well, I don't have that phone in my hand right now, but S25 Ultra claims that it has also been improved significantly. But if you actually compare it with the older generation, that's when you realize how big this difference is. But I still wonder why Samsung is not marketing such a game-changing feature, as even in last year they did not utter a word about this in the event. People bought the smartphones and that's when they started comparing, like, something is different in this display. Oh, it's a new anti-reflective coating. The frame is made of pure titanium, and we have antenna cutouts all around the phone. In the bottom we have the cute little S Pen poking slightly out of the edge. Well, I'll get into it in a bit. I'll explain you all the doubts that you have regarding this S Pen. I don't know if you might have experienced this, but you might pick up something thinking that okay, this should weigh this much, and you pick it and like, oh, it's lighter than I expected. The same thing goes with the Samsung S25 Ultra. This is around 218 grams, but it looks way heavier. And there is a saying that curves are deceiving. If you compare the S25 Ultra along with the S24 Ultra or even the S23 Ultra, those look much slimmer than this. But the moment you start looking at it from the top, that's when you realize how slim S25 Ultra actually is. It's around just 8.2 millimeters, and it's way slimmer than it looks. Because the edges are not curved, we are getting an illusion that okay, the previous series might be a little bit smaller, but in reality this is much more smaller. And it's a premium phone, flagship phone. The build quality which we expect, that is definitely delivered here, and probably they have enhanced it. This time they have the Corning Gorilla Armor 2, the front and the back. It feels solid along with the IP68 rating. The camera rings is now slightly bigger. It kind of looks similar to the Fold series, but one interesting thing which I noticed is it will not be visible when you're looking from the front. You have to look from the sides. Then you feel like these camera modules are kind of little bit floating from this device. And even they have given a gradient of silver around the edges of the ring. So in person it looks way different than what you see in the images. But I know some people are in favor of the old design. Some people like the new design. Design is something which is subjective, so I can't comment, but I definitely like this. This is the titanium silver blue color. In some lightings it looks blue, some lightings it looks silver, some lighting it looks gray, kind of like a titanium. So what color is your phone depends on what lighting and what angle you're looking at it. This has a 5000 mAh battery. I understand that some people might have this feeling that recently we have seen in many launches that smartphone brands are shifting to something called the silicon carbon batteries. It's a relatively new technology. We have made a detailed video on that in our channel, and I might have told you one thing, that silicon carbon batteries are something which is new and we don't know how well it will perform in the long run, because they have a tendency of swelling when charging and shrinking when discharging. So I think that might be one of the reasons that this being a flagship smartphone, the top tier phone from Samsung, and people are paying huge money for it, they might not want to suddenly jump into that technology. But I think mostly after rigorous testing it might be coming in the future upgrades of this smartphone. But one thing I can say, like every year they have an updated chipset, a better cooling, much more lower power consuming components, and an improved and optimized software. So all these things add up to an extra battery life than the previous generations, even after having a 5000 mAh battery. But again, as I said, it's been just 24 hours, so I cannot give a solid verdict right now, but till what I have used, the battery backup seems solid. But I'll definitely give you a long-term review, so you do subscribe to the channel for that. Like previous year, it's having the same 45 watt fast charging, 15 watt wireless charging, and 4.5 watt reverse wireless charging. Along with that, Samsung claims this has a 40% larger vapor chamber cooling. I remember last year when S24 Ultra was released, even after having an LTPO display, people were complaining that the lowest refresh rate it could go was 24 Hz. But this time I can see that it goes all the way from 120 Hz till 0 Hz. So literally they have listened to the feedback and just nailed it down. This will significantly improve the battery. Now coming to S Pen. See the things that you are intended to do with an S Pen. Say writing notes, signing documents, selecting text, clicking on this button, opening the air commands. All these things are still there. They seamlessly work. In the previous versions of the S Pen, say the S24 Ultra or the S23 Ultra, we had one more extra option to use it as a remote for the camera, and there were some cool party tricks kind of like a Harry Potter, which I think even I might have used rarely, maybe just to make a shorts video and not that much in practical life. I don't know why, maybe that might be a reason why it was removed in the S25 Ultra, but the previous generation S Pens will definitely work with the S25 Ultra. You just have to enable multiple S Pens in the S Pen setting and say I have the S23 Ultra S Pen, which will seamlessly work on your S25 Ultra, so no worries in that. But again, please note that will not bring back the Bluetooth facility. But anyways, if you hover the S Pen on top, you can still see the cursor and all. 6.9-inch Quad HD plus 120Hz LTPO dynamic AMOLED 2x display. Let me take a breath. This time the screen is 6.9 inches compared to 6.8 inches, not because the smartphone is bigger, but because the bezels are way thinner. It's extremely thin, extremely equal, with the 2600 nits of peak brightness, which is the same as last year, but this time it really is well visible in the outdoors, and because of this new improved anti-reflective coating, I can see much better contrasts even outside. Along with that, you have a fast ultrasonic fingerprint scanner in the bottom of the screen, and the placement is also nice, and really loud kind of a bassy speaker with the support for Dolby Atmos. When you're watching 8K videos on YouTube, I've noticed that if you go to the YouTube quality settings, there is actually a toggle for the 8K. I think this might be because of the new Pro Scalar display technology that they have introduced, so that even if you zoom in, you don't lose much of a detail, and reality whatever content you consume in this looks much more crisper. The vibration feedbacks on the haptics have also been significantly improved. Coming to One UI 7. Normally I've seen other people installing the beta versions of the One UI 7 just for making videos, but the last version I've used is the One UI 6.1.1. so this is the first device that I'm using with One UI 7, so it's my first experience with the software, and I can truly say this UI looks way more refined. When you open an app, when you close an app, you see the kind of animation that comes is way smoother than the previous version. The new icons even feel colorful, and overall for this kind of a software optimization, definitely they have leveraged the new custom made Snapdragon 8 Elite chipset for Galaxy. It's a really powerful chipset paired with LPDDR5X RAM and UFS 4.0 storage. In my testing, I've kept the phone in balanced mode, which was giving me around more than 2 million Antutu score. But if you are in performance mode, I can see many YouTubers doing videos who are getting more than 2.5 million Antutu score. And they have really optimized the One UI 7 for this new chipset, making the overall experience of the smartphone smoother. Even the subtle blur then you can get with the new notification panel when you swipe it down, the new recent screens. Even the home screen at the bottom, you can see the new Now bar. If you're running live activities like maps, timers, reminders, you can see that in the small pill in the lock screen below, and you can flick through them. It kind of looks cool while using. And even it is integrated with the new AI feature called the Now Brief, so that when you tap on this Now bar, it just takes you to the Now Brief, which will give you a brief of the day, like what is happening right now, what you have to do later today, or what you have to do tomorrow, how is the weather. It actually adapts based on how you are using the smartphone, so it's not like what you're seeing in my device might not be what you might be seeing. Throughout the day when you're using the phones, it kind of keeps changing, keeps adapting, but it's great. In the morning it'll say good morning. Feels personal. Along with that, you have the new integrated Google Gemini. I know Gemini is not something new. It is available in almost all of the Android.
I'm currently running on the Gemini family of models.
Good.
So in a sense, I am integrated with Gemini. I don't integrate with Gemini in the way you might think of integrating.
But this time what they have did with this Gemini is that they have integrated this with other Samsung apps like the Samsung Calendar, Samsung Notes, Reminders, etc. So what makes it special is, suppose you are saying, find me a nearby restaurant with outdoor seating and then add that to my calendar at 8 p.m. for a team dinner. What happens is Google Gemini is going to go through the Google Maps to search for all the restaurants that have outdoor seating and find which is the closest, and then add that to your Samsung calendar as an appointment for a team dinner at 8 o'clock. So this kind of an integration is something which is really useful. And again, I don't know how many of you might have felt this annoying, that if you are looking for a specific setting, you have to actually remember the exact label and type it to search. But this time it's kind of different. Say I have eye strain, it'll show you the eye comfort mode. Say I don't have a physical SIM, it'll show you option to set up an eSIM. I got a new headphones, it'll show you the Bluetooth settings or how to pair it. So it becomes like a natural language interaction. Also in any page from the side, and you can get the AI select. If you're in a page that has text, when you select it, it'll show you all the text based AI tools like summarizing it, making into a table, making into bullet points and all those stuffs. And if you're using it on top of an image, it'll tell you if you want to crop it, you want to edit it, use generative AI, and even you can create GIFs from live videos with this. And whatever AI features you used to get in the previous generation smartphones, everything you are getting in this, along with some extra AI features. And you know, some AI features might require cloud, some can work offline. So you can choose if you want to send your data to the cloud, or you can just make it work totally on the device. But again, if you are worried about the privacy, I can see that this time even in the event they spoke about this, that when you are doing a query, say it goes to the cloud, it gets deleted after some time, and even it's protected by the NOC security. So I don't think you should be that much worried about using cloud for AI. Along with that, this device gets 7 years of OS updates and 7 years of security updates. Now let's talk about the cameras. The camera setup looks same as last year. The only hardware upgrade is the new 50 megapixel ultra wide camera. Well, because of that, I can see many people are disappointed, saying fine, they should have upgraded camera, why they have not. Well, the reality is that even though the camera hardware has not changed, the output has changed. And I know people would say if output is changing, it's because they have did something in the software which could be achieved in any other smartphones with an update. It's not like that, because the new image processing is actually built in to the new Snapdragon 8 Elite 4 Galaxy custom made chipset. So it's not like you can just get it with a software update. But anyways, if hardware has changed or not, one thing which has finally changed is the camera UI. Do you remember the previous camera UI where you had some controls on the top, some on the bottom, and you have to do gymnastics with your thumb finger? Not anymore. You don't have to do. Everything is streamlined, everything is the bottom, and you can use the camera with one hand, change any setting you want with just your thumb finger. Well, that is definitely a good update. And because of the new upgraded 50 megapixel ultra wide camera, you can shoot 8K 30 fps videos not only in the primary camera but also in the ultra wide, and the regular 4K 60 fps videos as usual you can shoot it. And I feel the video performance has improved a lot. The noise is much lesser, even the time it takes to focus, and the natural bokeh that we get is also better. And you have even a toggle for taking HDR videos. Now if you are a pro video shooter, in the pro mode you also get a option for shooting in log. So if you are into color grading, it's a good news for you. Even the videos at night has changed drastically. They're using some kind of an AI technology to separate between the moving object and the background, making the overall video appear less grainy. Actually, you can see a significant improvement in the reduction of noise. And coming to photos, I don't have anything specific to say. The photos can actually speak. You can see through all the samples that I have shot with this device. I noticed that this time the photos taken in this are not way bright or way vibrant or punchy. It's kind of neutral, like how you're seeing the same way it's getting captured. So it's kind of a neutral tone that they have taken. And even in the front 12 megapixel selfie camera, you're taking a selfie with the harsh sunlight in the back. It really manages the detail in the back as well as your face. The portrait videos are also good. You can shoot in 3x as well as 5x. I generally prefer the 5x because it has more details, and there is better edge detection, and even the photos at night for portraits come better. It's a 5x optical zoom camera, but with this you can take optical quality zoom 10x photos. Even you can go up to 30x or 100x, and because of the new AI processing, I can see even in 100x the details are not lost. And again, when taking portrait photos, it's not just 1x, 2x, 3x and 5x. You can even take portrait photos like 3.1x, 3.2x all the way till 5x in any value, which I have not seen in much phones. One more thing which I noticed is the photos taken in the 50 megapixel ultra wide camera. There is absolutely not much color shift when compared to the primary camera. It looks almost identical, which is something which was not achieved in the previous generation. So right now, when you're taking a photo, you can take it with the same confidence in the ultra wide like you used to have in the primary camera, and it even works the same in the night. And same goes with the macro camera. You have a much better sensor right now to capture more details closer. And one interesting thing is, if you are into shooting videos outdoors, this has an AI which can analyze the different noises, and then you can selectively erase a specific noise from the video's audio. ഇപ്പൊ ഞാൻ നിങ്ങളോട് സംസാരിക്കുമ്പോൾ ബാക്ക്ഗ്രൗണ്ടിൽ ഞാൻ ട്രാഫിക്കിന്റെ ഒരു നോയ്സ് ഇട്ടിട്ടുണ്ട്, ആൻഡ് ഇവിടെ AC ഓൺ ആണ്. സോ ഏകദേശം ഇങ്ങനെയാണ് കേൾക്കുന്നത്. ഇനി ആ ഒരു വോയിസ് എല്ലാം അനലൈസ് ചെയ്ത് റിമൂവ് ചെയ്ത ശേഷം എങ്ങനെയുണ്ട് എന്ന് കൂടി കേട്ട് നോക്കാം. ഇപ്പൊ ഞാൻ നിങ്ങളോട് സംസാരിക്കുമ്പോൾ ബാക്ക്ഗ്രൗണ്ടിൽ ഞാൻ ട്രാഫിക്കിന്റെ ഒരു നോയ്സ് ഇട്ടിട്ടുണ്ട്, ആൻഡ് ഇവിടെ AC ഓൺ ആണ്. സോ ഏകദേശം ഇങ്ങനെയാണ് കേൾക്കുന്നത്. ഇനി ആ ഒരു വോയിസ് എല്ലാം അനലൈസ് ചെയ്ത് റിമൂവ് ചെയ്ത ശേഷം എങ്ങനെയുണ്ട് എന്ന് കൂടി കേട്ട് നോക്കാം. Yeah, so till now I have just touched upon what all are the new significant improvements that has been made, or significant upgrades that has been made in the new S25 Ultra. There might be some things which I am yet to discover. Because it's a personalized AI phone, it's not something which can be discovered in 24 hours. You might have to use it like for 10 days or 1 month month to actually see how this AI thing in real life works. So if you ask me, should you upgrade to the S25 Ultra? On paper, it might not look like a significant upgrade, but all the problems or all the tiny feedbacks that smartphone had, like the ergonomics or the display or the refinement in software or refinement in cooling or the camera performance, the battery backup, those kind of tiny things, they have just taken the good part and then just polished to make this beautiful smartphone. And I don't think all of this can be achieved with just a software update. And if you're using an older generation, say S22 or S23, it's a drastic improvement in this. I would recommend you can go with this latest model for the polished experience. And one interesting thing which I saw is this smartphone starts at 256 GB, but right now there is some offer going on in the Samsung, I think Samsung.com, which will give you 512 GB for the cost of 256 GB smartphone. So if you want, that's a great deal. Yeah, so that's it. That's my breakdown of the smartphone with my initial impressions. I'll put the detailed video sooner, so don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, bye bye.